Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Lorelei Shamayo. We're Metaphysical Empowerment and Wellness Events. We hold events throughout the Northwest in Seattle, Portland, Salem, and Eugene. We do interviews with our practitioners and our vendors, so you get a chance to know who we are before you come to an event. I'm here today interviewing Shrutee Sharma. It's lovely to meet you. Please tell us a bit about yourself and what you do, what you share at the events.
Yes, my name is Shrutee and I'm a Feldenkrais practitioner. A lot of the times people come to my office with a limitation, and oftentimes it's a physical limitation like a pain in the back or the shoulder or the knee and stuff like that. And I think on a larger level, I want to say that what I do is when somebody walks in with a limitation, there is a feeling of the physical limitation, but there is also the emotional things that go with it, of fear and of being stuck and being helpless. And what I really do is hold for them the possibility that they're unable for whatever reason to hold at the moment. And it could be the possibility of change or the possibility of a different life than they have right now, or just a higher potential that they want to live up to. More specifically, I teach private sessions and classes. And so in a fair, what I'll do is I will offer a 15-minute flavor and experience for what a whole experience might be, so that they can open up to possibility for themselves more than anything else, that something can change for them. I also teach classes and workshops. So sometimes I'll also share a free recording from some of my classes and workshops pertaining to the difficulty that they're having, like a shoulder pain or back pain or maybe a neck pain, something like that.
And I know personally, just from playing with just a little bit, it can make a huge difference. So I imagine a 15-minute session is a big opening for people.
Yes, even just a 15-minute, it's kind of interesting how, we're just kind of so busy moving around, and what you can accomplish in just 15 minutes, just playing with small movements and giving yourself the space to explore and step out of that zone of accomplishing and doing, and that that we all love a lot.
Maybe could you say a little bit about how did your interest in Feldenkrais develop, and so how did that show up for you? And how did you
from my own limitations, I used to work for Amazon as a senior product manager, and when I gave birth to my daughter, my first child, I started to really fall apart in myself, and I was very limited to the point where I couldn't even hold my daughter to nurse her. So it was very, very heartbreaking. And then I just went through my whole journey of going to a lot of specialists and a lot of physical therapy and chiropractic and all of that stuff. And as much as those things were wonderful in the short term, what I realized was something about not being whole, in that when I finally landed to my practitioner's office, I could just see the possibility that I had the potential to shift, that it's not that somebody was doing something to me, that somebody was manipulating me, or somebody was doing this and that to me, or maybe prescribing me some exercises, but that I could pay attention and seek and have the change that I wanted. So there was a certain empowerment in that. And so I started to get better really quickly. I was able to take ownership of my own improvement. And so I started doing that a lot. And then my practitioner, who's now my mentor, she said, Shrutee, you're doing this work already. How about just get credits for it? So that's how then I got into the training, and I just fell in love with it. Now I've been practicing, and I've initiated couple of my clients into the training. So it's come full circle for me.
Oh, that's great. That's great. I know some of our listeners won't have any idea what Feldenkrais is. Maybe could you share a bit more about what it is, or give a small example or something that people will really grok?
Yes. Well, Feldenkrais is a practice of um, learning to get better in oneself with very specific attention to how we move and some of the simplest to some of the most complex activities of life. So I see, people that, for example, are uncomfortable sitting or walking. And oftentimes the pain that we are having, like a back pain or a knee pain, we think of that as something that we have because of which we can't walk or sit or do the thing that we do. But if you just flip that and think how much we sit and walk and stand, then you start to get a sense for the solution is hidden in plain sight. It's in the things that we do. It's inside of the life we live. And that's what Feldenkrais taps into from a very deeper, very specific understanding of how the human body works and how we're connected. That literally the foot bone is connected to the knee bone, is connected to the hip bone. You know how that song goes, but
yeah. So I think it's the attention and awareness,
yes.
Creating space, maybe. Right.
Yes. And just being accessing the whole the way we move in a coordinated way, so that our parts are not segmented. That if you're having back pain, it's not necessarily that there's something wrong with our back, but that there is something perhaps in the foot or something that about a particular way that we stand or sit, or something that creates tension and a burden on another part. So tapping into that interconnectedness too.
Oh, great. And so I'm maybe so do people typically see you over a long period of time? Do they transition from a more acute issue often into classes, or what is the pathway that people often take?
It's a few different paths because it depends on everybody's situation. Sometimes people come in with a very severe limitation, and then they continue and work with me for, let's say, 10 lessons or something like that. And then oftentimes what happens is that when people begin to improve, some people are good, are satisfied, and they come in for the difficulty, for the shoulder or whatever, and then they move on with their life and they don't come back until something else hurts. And then there's other people that get really curious about, they want to improve their life beyond the physical injury that they initially walked in with. And so now then it's no more about my shoulder hurts or my back hurts, but it's about, I really want to swing dance. And since I've been working with you, now I go swing dancing, and now I want to compete. And, when I dance, I can do a pirouette on this side, but I can't on this side, or how can I improve? And so we kind of sometimes will move on to problems that are higher problems, like good problems to have. So, and then of course there's classes and workshops that some people kind of do both and switch from class to privates and privates to class, depending on how life is unfolding for them.
That's great. I love the difference too of how it's called a lesson and not a session.
Yes, Moshe called it, that was Moshe's term. And, sometimes we have all kinds of connotations around, lessons sometimes to me initially used to seem instructive, in that I used to feel like, oh, like I'm going to give you a lesson or something. But Moshe called it a lesson. And I think what really captures what he was going for is that in a Feldenkrais lesson, the practitioner and client are giving and receiving. So there isn't that that the practitioner is a higher person or knows better, or they know we have a sense of how the body works, but it is about tapping into their nervous system. So, for example, Lorelei has an intelligence. She has her own intelligence, and how can I tap into her intelligence to show her a perspective that maybe she hasn't considered, but she has it. So that was the idea behind the giving and the receiving a lesson.
No, it's great. Definitely my own experience of it. It's an opportunity for me to learn, for me to open to something that I've not seen engaged in that way before. Yeah.
But it's not that you don't have it or that I will give it to you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's great. That's great. Well, if people want to learn more about you, connect with you, how do they find you online?
Yes, they can find me on my website, shruteesharma.com. It's SHRUTEESHARMA.com. And that's where I talk about my classes and workshops and everything. They can also, another good way is to sign up for my blog. I write a lot, and there's a link on the website to sign up for that, and how I am practicing my own work in my life and with my clients.
Great, great. I'm looking forward to experiencing your work at the events.
Wonderful. Me too.
Thank you
Yes.
so much. Yeah. For those of you watching, listening, you can find us online at MetaphysicalEmpowermentEvents.com. Come see us. Come see Shrutee. All right. Take care.
Looking forward to it.